Hello, you are listening to Radio UTD. Today we are interviewing with
JZL the Empress, aka Jazzy Rich. I'm actually from a lot of places in the East Coast between DC, New York, Michigan, Kentucky, and then I recently moved to LA. I actually graduated from Howard University in DC, and I am an eclectic, independent music artist. I'm a songwriter. I also do some modeling. I've worked with New York Fashion Week on the runway with fashion designer Nicole Miller, and I'm just an all-around creative.
Did you start out in a different creative form?
Music has always been my first. That's always been something that's constant, but also it's gone hand in hand with like video content in a way. Like I would do that as a kid, having fun, like recording and editing videos. So they've kind of just been molded together for me as I've grown into this artist. And then modeling came, I was discovered in New York City after one of my performances at Symphony Space. It was like an older supermodel named Debbie Dickinson. She like found me on the sidewalk and was like taking pictures, and then she brought me into some designer studios, and then that's what put me on the runway. So now it's kind of like modeling, rapping, fashion, all that. The runway was new. Photos wise, it wasn't new, but I do like runway more than photos. And when I was younger, like I did want to model, but my mom was like, oh, these things are just scams, or like, like little Barbizon and different things like that. So I'm just like, okay, I guess it won't happen now. So when it did happen, I'm like, whoa, this is a full circle moment. So it was cool.
The runway, childhood dream, parents being like, you want to be a Disney star scam?
Literally, truly.
That still is like a different almost performance style. It is you that is, the art form out there, but at the same time you are adorning another artist's piece of work.
Yes.
How do you think that influenced either your music style or your stage presence when it comes to your own performances and creative pieces?
Wow, that's such a good question. That experience for me was like nerve-wracking because it was my first time, with the runway. The whole thing is there's this room with a bunch of people just waiting on you to come out, like just watching your every walk. You know what I mean? And you're wearing heels. Oh, yeah. and you're wearing some expensive designs and you just like want it to go right. But at the same time, you can't be all stiff walking on the runway. You have to have some personality and like, bring the clothes to life, really attract the audience. So I took all of that from my runway experience. What I did learn is like bringing more of that inner light, like your inner personality into spaces where you don't necessarily want to do too much, but at the same time you have to be yourself. So being yourself always wins because that's what will come across for people. That's what they'll see in your eyes, you know what I mean? And that's what worked for me. When I did go on the runway, it wasn't as a model, it was as an artist, myself, JZL the Empress. So when it came down to my hair, I had these rainbow braids at the time that I had in pigtails with like beads. And then I had my rainbow nails and everything. And that's what stuck out to people. That's what got me all of those placements on these different platforms, was because of that authenticity that people hadn't seen before brought to the runway on that scale. So that whole just staying anchored in your authentic self and allowing that to shine, that's what I really took with me. And that's what I bring with me to performances now, is like, people came to see a show, Hunty, you gotta show them a show,
We know models as like models for the same time, but it was, yourself.
Yes.
Also. And you can tell in pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you can when you're not really being yourself or being comfortable in the situation.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true. And I'm more of a live person than videos. Like, even if you find my Instagram, that's cool and all, but actually on my Instagram, I have more videos than photos. And it's just because I'm more of a in real life type person. Like, I do still feel awkward when I'm posing. Like, I still don't really like to do that. I'd rather like do a video where I get to spin, you know what I mean? So I just like to be in that flow because that's what's actually real when you're in those present moments and embracing it.
When it comes to like how COVID influenced how you interacted with your fans on socials, do you think it encouraged you to
Oh yeah.
be more open digitally and show more of yourself? Or it sounds like you've always been like that though.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the platforms are available for you for however you want to use them. And if you overthink it, you probably won't end up using them much, where they could be used to your advantage. During that time, I released one of my records, Playboy, which is out right now. It's a really fun, live, energetic song. I actually say that record is an ode to the song Scrubs by TLC, which was my favorite song growing up. I don't want no scrubs. And Playboy is like a feel-good vibe. So that song was already done when COVID hit, and I knew it would be something that could like, you know, help lift some spirits and, you know, get people dancing and moving. So I dropped that then, and then I just used that time to also songwrite, be in the studio. And when it does come down to the social platforms, that's really when I started using more of my TikTok and participating in some of the dance challenges, which is a workout, by the way. Like, that was during the time of Savage by Megan Thee Stallion. I was in the bathroom mirror sweating, trying to figure out how to like do that dance. So it was definitely a challenge, but using the socials did help me connect more with the fans. And, you know, we all had that time to just relax and recalibrate.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I used that time to relax and recalibrate. I didn't really stress too much. I definitely, you know, took care of my health, but I took advantage for sure.
And now that we're back, we're not back, but you are traveling right now.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be back in that scene and being able to perform outside of just a phone or DSLR camera situation?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, being able to connect with people like you, Amanda, like this is what's worth it to me, is like that real in-person interaction, where we can actually exchange energy and get together like this. You never really notice how important it is until you're not allowed to do that, until you're not allowed to go outside. And then I also love traveling. It gives me an opportunity to expand and like connect with my crew members around the country. Honestly, like this is my first time in Dallas, but I feel like I'm home. Like everybody has been so sweet, so kind, and that real like human connection is so valuable. So like everybody wear your mask so we don't have to get stuck in again, you know what I mean? For now, at least. I'm really glad that things have opened back up, you know, and that we are able to do this, because it's important for people to be able to connect with one another in real life, you know. I feel like we're gonna move towards this digital virtual world. Like I'm kind of nervous.
From the college kids side, it really helps if you don't have to go to the 8:30 a.m. lecture if you stayed up doing homework until 2. But at the same time, it just made accommodations easier. Like, not everyone's able to attend a concert in person.
Right.
So it did bring light to those issues.
Yeah, different opportunities. That's true. And I mean, even today, or last night performing in Dallas, like I made that a virtual show. You know, I was able to go live on my TikTok, and we had over like 4,000 viewers that were able to tune in to my live performance from who knows where. You know, they're from everywhere around the country. And I think COVID did open up people's eyes to the fact that it's like, wow, there's so much that we can do digitally. Like even the Versus challenge by Swiss Beats and Timbaland, like that revived so many artists that had released music in the past that are on these streaming sites that people don't really think about anymore. So it did bring out a lot of opportunity that I think we'll still take with us moving forward, even as things do go back to normal. So I've been making music for a while now. Like I started officially recording when I was a student at Howard University. That's where I met producers that I still work with now. They were my classmates. And so even being here at RadioUTD, it's so dope because you may not know it now, but this is where a lot of it's gonna start. And like the people that you're around, like this is where you really need to connect and start to build your community, because moving forward in the future, these are gonna be people that you can rely on, people that you already know and trust. And you guys might share similar goals. And one of my producers, Miles Sloan, he produced this record for me. It's called Everything. He made the beat. He's worked with Pharrell. He's done records for like A$AP Rocky and a lot more people. And I will be releasing that song this next month in November. The video is already done for that. I shot the video in Miami with a couple of my homegirls. It was just kind of like a pop-up video. It is really fun. So that record will be out this next month. Also, we'll be at V Live tonight, so shout out to Mr. Hit It at V Live. I know they're gonna play Chocolate Factory, and I already know the dancers go crazy to the record, so I'm excited for that. That's gonna be super hot. The song Everything is from my most recent project, which is The Awesome Experience of JZL Volume 2, which is actually available right now. It's on my SoundCloud, it's on YouTube. However, I'm gonna be releasing some songs individually from that on the other streaming platforms that you guys use, like Apple Music, Spotify. So Everything is one song off of that mixtape. I also have a few other songs that I'm gonna be releasing before the end of the year that are off of that project that are not a part of Jazzy Rich. So it's kind of like older to me, but new for you. And there's still dope records to check out while you guys wait, you know, so you'll still be able to rock that JZL and get Jazzy Rich, you know what I mean? So stay anchored for that.
You just released a single, I think, about
a
month?
Yeah, it's been a month. It's been out for a month. Chocolate Factory. It's like my favorite song right now. I would say it's number one, it's catchy for sure. It'll definitely get stuck in your head. It's also like a sensual song. I would also say it's empowering, especially for melanated people around the world, and people that like sweets and candy and chocolate. Like, you can get some joy in that song too, because I list probably like 15 different chocolates and types of candies. So yeah, so we're actually working on the music video right now. So the music video is going to be really, really dope. So definitely stay anchored and look out for that in the future as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that having like really rad visuals.
Yes, that's what we're going for. It's giving like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because, I mean, that was kind of already a dark movie in a way. You know, It was kind of like a little dark. Even watching the old one. Back in the day, I'm like, that boat scene, I'm like, what? So yeah, we're gonna pull from that inspiration and like kind of tie it all together.
And also, you know, it's Halloween is approaching.
I know.
So you could get that on your playlist as well.
Exactly. And with Halloween approaching, by the way, I do have like 2 music videos of mine that I would suggest right now that you guys check out if you're in the mood for something spooky. That was just a disclaimer, you know, a fair warning. It's a 2-part video series. So the first one is Miss Me, and that's on YouTube, and the next one is Bittersweet, and that's also on YouTube. Both directed by me and whatnot, and it was shot by Versus Visuals, and those visuals are really dope because it has a longer storyline, which is why we broke it down into 2 music videos. And it's the story of me and Big Teddy's relationship, and you know, you get to see where it went wrong and then what I did. And that's all I'll say.
And with Chocolate Factory, will that be, I assume that will be a part of your EP coming out?
Yes, I have an EP coming out. It's called Jazzy Rich, and Chocolate Factory is the first single on that EP. And so it kind of introduces you to the vibe that I'm going for with the EP. I say I'm an eclectic artist just because I don't really like to box myself into one specific category. Like, I do hip hop, I rap, I do R&B, some pop. I lived in Kentucky, I can do the whole country thing. So I like to just like, you know, switch it up and keep it flowing. So there's gonna be a lot of different songs on there. It's probably only about like 5 songs total, but it'll all give you something different. I would say the theme for Jazzy Rich is more based on where I'm at in my life right now. Just feeling more grown, definitely more in tune with myself. I'm all about self-love and empowerment, but at the same time, like, I can get dirty. Like, I'm also about that grind and putting in that hard work. So I'm just using all of my development that I've had in the past 5 years as an artist and getting my sound together, and also my awareness of like what people want and need right now that's also different that they're not getting, and pulling from that and just creating something that people can vibe to that's relatable but also gives you an experience. So yeah, that's kind of like what you can expect is like when I think of Jazzy Rich, even just the words, like just that abundance, like a sound that's different that you'll be able to be like, okay, I see where this is going, and hopefully you like it.
I'm excited. Do you have like an estimated date that it's going to come out for our listeners?
I'm just getting into a really dope studio in LA. It's in Burbank that I'm working with. So I'm still actually open to working with more producers, kind of like finding some of the right sounds. I do have a few already done, but you know, I'm open to it. I'm not really stuck on the date. Like that really used to stress me out.
True. Yeah,
it really did, just because it can kind of get in the way of your creativity and what you're really like manifesting and creating. Chocolate Factory is already out. The video is going to be out soon. So I want to get it together sooner than later.
The very much similar to Mario Game Boy of
yes.
Like, I love that album art.
He did such a good job. Like I gave him the vision that I wanted, and did he deliver? Yes. Like, cause basically through the song Playboy, you're gonna hear a lot of drops from literally the game Mario Kart, like throughout the record. And so I knew with that playful vibe, I'm like, I want to convey this in the cover art, which by the way, we're gonna be shooting a music video for that too in Las Vegas.
Nice.
It's gonna be lit. I'm still forming that one in my mind, but I already know it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be a game theme. Like I'm thinking like dirt bikes. What do they have? Those spider cars even.
Yeah, they got the go-kart. My brain's like, now I'm going into gamer mode. But
Shout out to the banana peels.
The banana peels. Shout out to the banana peels. Yeah, they have zip lines. So I'm thinking of like a relay race type thing in the visual form. Whereas with the cover art, I'm like, how can we make it seem like you're pressing start and these are the different worlds that you can go to? Because you can see that on the cover art. Like one is kind of like a fairground, one is a water basin with the rainbow. So there's a couple different lands that you can visit, and I'm just so glad that he was able to incorporate my vision and make it real.
This is post-production Amanda cutting in to say that the cover artist for Playboy was Umair_io, who is a 2D and 3D game and AR solutions specialist. Now, back to the interview.
So I've been songwriting since I was like 14. And when I got to college, I turned it up a level because now it became a thing where it's like I'm with my friends, we're turning up literally all the time. And so I made music to match that vibe. Like the songs that I made were all about, they were either about partying or the experiences that I was going through at that time. And then I decided to like take my music more seriously because I realized like I want to share my music with my grandparents. I want to be able to share it with my parents, and like I want them to be able to share it with their friends. And so I just got more serious about my songwriting. And that was the time where I'm like, okay, I really want to push my pen game and see how much I can do even without like cursing even. So I made a lot of music that would be hot music, but it's still clean. Like I really believe in investing in our youth today because their minds are still so impressionable and they're like watching our every moves. And it's like when they become a fan of you, they're kind of your fan for life. So I kind of changed the way that I would write and the way I was doing music. And so hopefully you guys hear that in my records. You know, it's something that you can play around your family and friends. It is stuff that you can play around your kids without worrying about it. But at the same time, it's not washed down. Like it's still relatable. It's still good vibes, feel good music. Some of the music is deeper. Like I have a record called Wonder Why, which is a modern day spin-off of like Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, where I really discuss real issues that are going on in today's society, like, you know, homelessness and children being raised without fathers and, you know, abortions, and like literally touching on all of those topics within that record. But then I'll have other records that are like, you know, young and fresh, where it's like, they said I wouldn't understand because I'm young and fresh, but I already got a plan because I'm fresh and young, like ageism, you know, just different things like that. And at the same time, heartbreak, but feeling empowered through finding yourself and getting that time to yourself, self-love, and doing what you need to do to really be anchored in your zen and moving with intention, you know, and just being able to focus on your goals and what it is that you want to manifest into this world, and, you know, how you're going to change the world as an individual, because it only takes one person. And like, if each one person does their job, that's literally how the world will become a better place. So I'm now very intentional about what I write, you know, and the kind of energy that I want to put out there, because I'm moving with more intention now, and I'm really focused on building something that is bigger than myself and being able to touch somebody to be their authentic self, you know, regardless of what environment you're in, whether you're the new girl, because I was always the new girl growing up, moving around so much, or whether you've been in the same place all your life, but you want to reinvent yourself. Like, you have permission to do that. You just have to give yourself that permission. Yeah.
Are there any artists you would like to shout out, or producers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Audio wizards.
Yeah, definitely. Special shout out to the producer of my Playboy record, that is Munzo. He killed that beat. It's such a good, uplifting vibe. Like, you guys got to hear that record. It's one of those that just, I don't know, I really feel like it boosts the mood. It's like a feel-good track. So he did a wonderful job on that production. Definitely got to give a special shout out to Young Rich Harlem, who's in the building with me. We came out here to Dallas. Also Miss Desire, she's the one that had us at the show last night. It was a really dope interview, dope performance. That will actually be playing for you guys on a local television station that you guys can check out here. The station that you guys can check out for that live performance that I did here in Dallas is WPS-TV, and it's channel 26 in Dallas. WPS-TV. So make sure you guys stay anchored for that drop. So Miss Desire is working with the owner of that local television station to bring more poppin' shows, I'll just say, like independent artists to the city, and showcase, you know, more of what Dallas has to offer, and more of what just artists around the country have to offer. So I know that show is going to be out soon. I'm not sure if it'll be before the end of the year, but I'm sure that's the goal.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so yeah, next month. So you guys can tune into that. You get to see my performance. Also, Young Rich Harlem performed. We also did a really dope interview. Just kind of like let you guys know a little bit more about me. But the performance, though, is lit. Okay, we performed Chocolate Factory, I did Everything, and I did Playboy. So those are my top 3 records right now. Tonight we going to the strip club.
Where can they follow you then, so they know when it is officially dropping?
Definitely. You guys can stay anchored with me at JZL the Empress. That's 3 letters. JZL, as in love. The Empress. That's on Instagram, Facebook. My TikTok is Jazzy Rich, because that's a little bit more personal, by the way. So Jazzy Rich, it's more like okay, if the Empress is an Empress, right? And you know, it's kind of more mature.
Regal.
Yes, regal, that queendom that we all have within us, like that feminine, divine nature. But Jazzy Rich is more that like rebellious side of me. I'm an Aquarius. I'm pretty spunky and whatnot, and so you can expect that with Jazzy Rich. So my TikTok is where my biggest crew members lie. That's Jazzy Rich. And then my Snapchat is crew members only, because that's exclusive for crew members only, and it's spelled, you know, regularly, no mix-ups. And then JZLtheempress.com for everything else. Yeah, and if you guys want to check out any of my other past work, like even on the runway, I was in Vogue, Elle, Allure, USA Today, People's Magazine, Newsweek, like there were all these dope placements. You guys can check that out there on my website. And then also other work that I've done within the DC community. I was awarded Top 30 Under 30 in DC. And we also did a commercial campaign for DC Lottery, which is actually still airing today. We did that like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it's still airing today. Like they had my picture on like buses and the metro, and like it was pretty crazy. So yeah, all that kind of stuff is on my website. You guys can kind of stay anchored and dig deeper into it, hold it down, you know.
Thank you again for coming into the station and talking to us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoy the music, you know, free to join the crew. We're on the same boat, chasing our dreams, and you know we got to stay anchored together.